In this video, we are going to talk about solving absolute value equations. So when we're solving absolute value equations, we're really going to do it in 3 steps. The first step is to isolate our absolute value. So if there's anything on the same side of our equation as our absolute value bars, we want to get that alone. Our second step is after we get it alone, we're going to set up 2 equations. One of the equations is going to equal the number. The other equation is going to equal the opposite of that number. And then step 3 is we're just going to solve both equations. All right, so let's apply these steps for this first example. So first we want to isolate the absolute value bars. Well, in this case, actually, our absolute value bars are already alone on this side. There's nothing in front or behind them. So we can move to step 2. And we're going to set up 2 equations. Our first equation will be x plus 4 equals 9. Our second equation will be x plus 4 equals negative 9. Now we're just going to solve both these equations. So to solve the first equation, I'm going to minus 4. I would get x equals 5. I'm also going to minus 4 in the second equation, but I have negative 9, so I would get negative 13. And those would be my 2 examples. Let's look at this one below. So again, the first thing you want to do is isolate the absolute value. So I want to get this 2x plus 2 alone. So to do that, I'm first going to add the 7. So I'm going to have 3 times the absolute value of 2x plus 2 equals 18. Then I still want to move this 3, so I'm going to divide by 3. So then I have the absolute value of 2x plus 2 equals 6. Now that my absolute value is alone, I can write my 2 equations. So I'm going to have 2x plus 2 equals 6, and 2x plus 2 equals negative 6. And now I can just solve both of these. So we're going to minus 2. Look at that, x equals 2, minus 2, divide by 2, and I'll get x equals negative 4. All right, let's look at this next problem. So again, I want to get the absolute value bars alone. So the first thing I'm going to do is move the 8. Since it's a positive 8, I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides, and I will get 16. Now I want to get rid of this 2 in front, so since it's multiplied by the absolute value bars, I'm going to divide by 2, and I'll get the absolute value of x minus 6 equals 8, and now I can write my 2 equations. Now I'm going to solve each of these equations. So to solve the first equation, I'm going to add 6, and I'll get x equals 14. I'm going to add 6 again, but now I have a negative 8, so negative 8 plus 6 is negative 2. Now let's talk about, there's a special rule with absolute values. So we know that absolute value bars must equal a positive number. Now, if this is not true, that means we're going to get no solution. So for example, if we look at this first one, we have the absolute value of 2x minus 3 equals negative 5. Well, a absolute value will always equal a positive. Since it's set equal to a negative to start with, we know that this is no solution. Now the second example, we're going to get the absolute value bars alone. So I'm going to get this x plus 7 part alone first. So first I'm going to minus 9. And 1 minus 9 is negative 8. Then I'm going to divide by 4. And I'll get the absolute value of x plus 7 is equal to negative 2. Now that my x plus 7 is alone, and I can see that it's equal to a negative, I know that this is no solution. So So we want to make sure that our absolute value is isolated before we say that there's no solution.